What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today we're checking out the Gondek EDC Hank of the Month Club hanks for January 2024. We'll be checking out both the standard and XL tier of this subscription, and if you're not familiar, it's exactly what it sounds like. For $10 a month, you can get the standard, which is a 7-inch by 7-inch hank. They're all going to be microfiber backed, which is the side you see facing up now. On the front, you'll have a unique design that never repeats in the subscription, never gets sold in their store. So the Hank of the Month Club is the only place to get these hanks. Now, for $20 a month, you can get the XL. That one is 11 inches by 11 inches, and the same deal. Never repeats, never sold in their store. Also going to be a different design than the standard, although they'll often play off of each other, and that's especially true this month. They won't be identical, so you can subscribe to both these without worrying about getting a repeat in two different sizes. If you want some examples of what previous months look like, I do have a playlist where I've shown every XL Hank of the Month Club hank that they've done so far, as well as probably the last 25 or so standard Hank of the Month Club hanks. So this month, the letters that came with these are identical, and so we'll show the first one, that standard, and then read the letter, and then show the last one, the XL. Now that one we're not going to read again because the letter is identical, which is a little bit of a change for this month. So with that being said, let's dive into the standard, the 7-inch by 7-inch. Really interesting design this month. It reminds me of like oil floating on top of water. It looks kind of like an oil slick. And just a abstract design, really pastel colors on this one outside of some of those darker blues that we see on this one. And keep in mind, yours may look a lot different than mine because of the nature of this pattern. It's gonna not be identical from hank to hank, which I think is really cool. One thing I really like about this one too is that I feel like it works with a lot of gear. You know, some hanks you get and you're like, okay, this matches really well with blue gear, but that's it. And in this case, it really works with anything because it has every color in there, and then even like monotone, like titanium, raw titanium and stuff like that. It's really gonna pop here because it's breaking up that pattern. So love the look of this one. I think they started off very strong with the standard this year. And let's get into the letter. Feel free to skip ahead if you just care about the reveal, you want to see the XL, but they do offer some really nice insights into the plans for Gondek EDC in 2024, so I do think it's worth a read, but obviously if all you're caring about is that reveal, feel free to skip forward. Now, the letter this month says, Dear Hank of the Month Club member. A little bit of a different letter this time. We're using one letter for both the standard and XL Hank of the Month Club. The reason for this is we wanted to discuss our plans for 2024 and felt it was applicable for both letters. It's our 49th month of the standard and our 8th of the XL, which we're still so proud of. As you can see with either hank, we're kicking off 2024 with some color. We felt we had a few darker styles or colored hanks the past few months and wanted to go back to our roots. Personally, and it says that Max is writing the letter this time around, says, I love a super colorful hank and these two designs totally meet that requirement for me. Now to the meat of the letter. We really want to talk about our plans for the next year and what we hope to accomplish. For those who don't know, I currently have a day job as an engineer and my long-term goal is to make Gondek EDC my main source of income. It's a bold task, but in 2024 we have a few items we're going to be pushing hard to help make that a reality. So point one is we're really going to be getting the Gondek EDC name out there. We're currently signed up for Blade Atlanta and want to try additional trade shows and events too. Also, we're going to be working with more reviewers and YouTube channels, reach out to collab. And so super excited about this one because if there's one nice show I'm going to be traveling to this year, it will be Blade Atlanta. I'll obviously be at all my local shows as well and may travel to some others, but 95% sure I'll be at Atlanta this year. And so really excited to finally meet them in person because I've been interacting with them online, on Instagram and the Facebook group, in the YouTube comments. And even before I had a YouTube channel, I was a customer of Gondek EDC. And I do still buy all of this gear. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, just a big fan of them. So if it ever feels like I'm super enthusiastic, it's just because I'm a fan of them and they seem like great people and are great to interact with. So excited to meet them. Obviously the collabs, if you have something in mind and you're watching this, feel free to reach out to me. Always open for collabs as well. I think that's really cool. Now point two, we're trying to get into more brick and mortar stores as well as additional resellers. We actually just got some of our gear in a sweet local store in Cedarburg, Wisconsin and hope to continue to expand. And so not sure if that'll make its way all the way out to California, but if it does, it would be really cool to see some of their products on my local knife shop shelf. And Number 3 is the one I'm particularly excited about, knives, knives, and more knives. 2024, we plan on releasing the Index V2 and our new folding knife, the Alchemist. We feel knives are going to play a big role for us long term. And so for those that don't know, the Index V2 just finished its pre-order. I believe it wrapped up already, unfortunately. And I missed out on that one. I didn't have the funds at the time, but I'm hoping that I'll be able to pick it up after they fulfill those pre-orders if there's any extra. And really cool knife. It's a small fixed blade. The Index is the name of it, and once you see it, you'll kind of understand why it has a large hole that you can put your index finger through. And then the folding knife, I don't think they've revealed anything about that yet, but called the Alchemist. And really excited about that one because although I cover all sorts of EDC gear on the channel, that folding knives was really the main thing I had in mind when I started my channel, so we'll always have a soft spot for those. And they make all of their knives and pry bars and hanks, all of the gear in the US, and so really excited to see a US company making knives, and they are very fairly priced. Now, number 4, we'll continue to listen to the community and always be open to ideas both on products or ways to help get our name out there. So definitely reach out to them. For me, historically, reaching out to them on Instagram or via email, they've always been super responsive. And so if you have suggestions, do reach out. Now, all that being said, we absolutely will not move away from what we feel makes Gondek EDC such a good company. Just good people making good gear at good prices is our mission statement, and we're sticking with it. Also, gear will continue to be 100% made in the USA, which I forgot that was in the letter. I might not have mentioned it above, but continue to be made 100% made in the USA. Finally, we'll keep innovating our current products and continue to make new hanks and pouches. As always, I really hope you guys enjoy this month's hank as much as we do. Again, thank you so much for being a member of our club. Happy hanking. Thanks, Max and Lauren Gondek. And so with that said, that letter is going to apply to the XL as well, so no separate letter here. Let's go ahead and get that one revealed. And as you can see, very similar theme to it, but a very different look overall. Still feels like it's kind of oil floating on top of water, but the colors are so much brighter and vibrant. This almost feels like something you'd find in the blacklight section of a Spencer's if you're familiar with that store. Just trippy, abstract, bright colors, and really, really cool looking. Now, although this one also looks kind of like an oil slick floating on water, this one feels like a more intentional design, where this one feels like natural if you just had oil floating there and didn't touch it, what you might end up with. This one feels like someone deliberately put those like points in it and dragged it out, and so has a very different feel even though they're very similar. Love the bright colors on this one. I think it's really going to pop on camera, and kind of the same things I said about the first one are going to apply here. Will really work with any type of gear because it has so many different colors, and even that monotone stuff is going to pop when it's breaking up that pattern. So love both of these. I think a really, really solid start for 2024, but would love to hear your thoughts on them down in the comments below and which one's your favorite. Also curious if you would be interested in hearing about my favorites from 2023, maybe a top 3 of the standard, top 3 of the XL. I did do that in 2022, but just kind of behind this year, and so I'm not sure if it's too late to get to those. If enough people are interested, I will make that video, but if not, feel free to check them out yourself in that playlist. Also worth mentioning, Max was just on the Carry Culture podcast, hosted by Slightly Compulsive EDCologists Josh and Chris. Really great guys. I was on episode 3. Max was on episode 9, which aired about a week ago. And episode 10 just dropped yesterday at the time this is dropping. That one had Eddie from OEG EDC, really great guy as well. But definitely worth checking out. I'll link to that in the description, get some more insight on what they have planned. It was a really great episode, so if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. But thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting the notification button. They all help me out a ton. And as always, I hope you have a great one. Take care.